911, what's your emergency?
Hi, I'm Brian,
And I'm Gabby.
and this is our Ford Transit Connect that we've been living in, and we thought it was finally time to give you a tour.
Gabby and Brian seemed like a loving couple.
She was young, vibrant, and full of dreams. Gabby Petito's disappearance gripped the nation, not just because of the tragedy, but because of the digital trail that exposed a hidden darkness. This is the story of how a road trip turned into a manhunt, and how the internet helped reveal the truth. Gabrielle Venora Petito, known as Gabby, was born on March 19, 1999, in Blue Point, New York. She grew up in a close family and was described by those around her as adventurous, creative, and drawn to travel. In her early 20s, Gabby embraced the growing van life movement, which involved traveling across the country in a converted van and documenting experiences online. Gabby met Brian Christopher Laundrie during high school in Long Island, New York. They later reconnected in Florida, where Gabby moved to live with Brian and his family in North Port. Their relationship progressed quickly, and they became engaged in 2020. Although her family later said the engagement was called off, Gabby and Brian continued dating. In early July 2021, Gabby and Brian set out on a cross-country road trip in a white 2012 Ford Transit van that had been converted into a camper. Their plan was to visit national parks across the western United States and share their journey on social media. Gabby maintained a travel blog and posted regularly on Instagram, showing photos of scenic landscapes, smiling selfies, and moments from their trip. Brian also contributed to their shared YouTube channel, where they uploaded a short video documenting their travels. Their first stops included Kansas, Colorado, and Utah. Gabby's posts from July and early August showed her exploring Great Sand Dunes National Park, Zion National Park, and Bryce Canyon. She appeared happy and engaged with the experience, often writing captions that reflected her excitement. Now, the couple's van life journey was presented online as carefree and adventurous, with images of campsites, hikes, and national park visits. By early August, the couple had reached Moab, Utah. It was here that the first documented signs of tension in their relationship would emerge, leading to police involvement. On August 12, 2021, a 911 call was placed by a witness in Moab, Utah. The caller reported seeing a man strike a woman during an argument near the Moonflower Community Cooperative. The vehicle involved was described as a white van with Florida plates. Dispatch relayed the information to Moab police officers, who soon located the van and initiated a traffic stop near the entrance to Arches National Park. When officers approached, they found Gabby Petito visibly upset, crying, and struggling to compose herself. Brian Laundrie appeared calm, but had scratches on his face and arms. Officers separated the two and began questioning them individually to understand the situation. Gabby explained that she suffered from anxiety and that the couple had been arguing. She admitted to hitting Brian during the dispute, saying she had been frustrated and overwhelmed. Brian told officers that Gabby had become upset and struck him, but he denied hitting her. He described the incident as a minor altercation caused by stress related to their travels and her mental health struggles. The officers documented the encounter carefully. They noted Gabby's emotional state and Brian's injuries. After consulting with one another, they decided not to press charges against either party. Instead, they classified the incident as a mental/emotional health break rather than domestic violence. Their decision was based on Gabby's admission of striking Brian, her distressed condition, and the absence of clear evidence of assault by Brian. To reduce tension, the officers separated the couple for the night. Brian was taken to a hotel while Gabby remained with the van. Body cam footage from this stop later became a central piece of evidence in understanding the dynamics of Gabby and Brian's relationship. Gabby appeared apologetic, anxious, and fearful, while Brian maintained composure and minimized the conflict. After the Moab incident, Gabby and Brian continued their journey. They visited Arches National Park and then traveled north toward Wyoming. Gabby's social media activity resumed, with posts showing her smiling and exploring scenic locations. However, her communication with family began to change. While she had previously maintained regular contact through texts and FaceTime calls, her messages became less frequent and less personal after mid-August. On August 25th, 2021, Gabby Petito made her final confirmed Instagram post. The photo showed her standing in front of a butterfly mural in Ogden, Utah. The caption read, "Happy Halloween." This post was unusual in timing, given that it was late August, and it became the last verified activity on her social media accounts. On August 23rd, Gabby spoke with her mother via FaceTime, appearing cheerful, but this was one of the last direct conversations. Following the August 25th Instagram post, her messages became less frequent and less personal. On August 27th, Nicole received a text message from Gabby's phone that read, "Can you help Stan? I just keep getting his voicemails and missed calls." Stan was Gabby's grandfather, but Gabby never referred to him by his first name. Nicole immediately found the message suspicious, believing it was not written by Gabby. This text was the last confirmed communication from Gabby's phone. Witnesses later reported seeing Gabby and Brian together on August 27th at a restaurant in Jackson, Wyoming. Staff members recalled a heated argument between Brian and restaurant employees, with Gabby appearing upset and apologetic. This incident suggested escalating tension between the couple. After August 27th, Gabby's family stopped receiving any communication from her. Attempts to reach her went unanswered. Meanwhile, Brian continued traveling. On September 1st, 2021, Brian Laundrie returned to Northport, Florida. Here driving the van the couple had used for their trip. Gabby was not with him. He did not contact Gabby's family, nor did he offer any explanation for her absence. Over the next several days, Brian and his family refused to speak with law enforcement or the media. Gabby's family grew increasingly alarmed. On September 11th, 2021, they reported her missing to Suffolk County Police in New York. The missing person report triggered a nationwide search. Gabby's story quickly gained traction online, with social media users sharing her photos and travel details. The hashtag #FindGabbyPetito began trending, and amateur investigators combed through her posts and videos for clues. On September 16th, 2021, the FBI officially joined the investigation into Gabby Petito's disappearance. They began analyzing digital evidence, including her phone records, social media activity, and GPS data from the van. The search focused on Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming, where Gabby had last been seen. On September 18th, authorities expanded their search to the Spread Creek Dispersed Camping Area in Bridger Teton National Forest. This location was identified through witness reports and digital tracking. Campers in the area had reported seeing the couple's van parked there in late August. On September 19th, 2021, human remains were discovered in the Spread Creek area. The FBI confirmed that the remains matched the description of Gabby Petito. The Teton County coroner later ruled the death a homicide. The cause of death was determined to be manual strangulation, with blunt force injuries to the head and neck also noted. The coroner estimated that Gabby had died 3 to 4 weeks before her body was found, placing the time of death around August 27. The discovery of Gabby's remains marked a turning point in the investigation. What had begun as a missing person case was now confirmed as a homicide. The focus shifted to locating Brian Laundrie, who had returned to Florida alone on September 1st and refused to cooperate with law enforcement. By the time Gabby was confirmed dead, Brian himself had already disappeared. On September 13th, Brian's parents reported that he had left their home to go hiking in the Carlton Reserve, a vast wilderness area near their house. They claimed he never returned. The Carlton Reserve spans more than 24,000 acres of swampland, dense vegetation, and difficult terrain. It quickly became the focal point of the search. Law enforcement agencies launched a large-scale manhunt. Local police, the FBI, and other agencies deployed drones, swamp vehicles, and search dogs. The terrain was flooded and hazardous, making the search slow and dangerous. Officers combed through trails, waterways, and wooded areas, but no trace of Brian was found in the initial weeks. The search drew intense media coverage. Reporters camped outside the Laundrie family home, and the case dominated national headlines. Protesters gathered at the property, demanding answers from Brian's parents. Public speculation grew as days passed without progress. Social media users tracked possible sightings, though none were confirmed. Throughout September and October, investigators continued to search the Carlton Reserve. They focused on areas where Brian was known to hike and camp. Despite extensive efforts, the swampy conditions and wildlife made the search extremely difficult. Law enforcement maintained pressure, but the reserve yielded no immediate results. On October 20th, 2021, investigators discovered human remains in the Carlton Reserve. The remains were skeletal and located near personal items belonging to Brian, including a backpack and a notebook. The FBI confirmed that the remains were Brian Laundrie's. The discovery ended the manhunt that had lasted more than a month. When Brian Laundrie's skeletal remains were discovered in the Carlton Reserve on October 20th, 2021, investigators also recovered personal items nearby. Among them were a backpack, a dry bag, and a notebook. These items were collected by the FBI and became central to understanding the final stage of the case. The notebook was water damaged but partially legible. After examination, authorities confirmed that it contained writings in which Brian admitted responsibility for Gabby Petito's death. The FBI later released a statement summarizing the findings. Brian had written that he killed Gabby. This admission provided direct evidence linking him to the homicide, even though he had died before facing trial. The discovery of the notebook closed a major gap in the investigation. Until then, Brian had been the primary suspect, but there had been no direct confession. The notebook served as his acknowledgement of what had happened. Alongside the notebook, investigators found other personal effects that confirmed the area had been his final location. The FBI concluded its investigation in January 2022, stating that Brian Laundrie was the sole person responsible for Gabby Petito's death. With Brian deceased, no criminal charges could be pursued. The case was officially closed. Though questions remained about the events leading up to Gabby's death and the role of Brian's family during the period when he returned home alone, Gabby's family began taking steps to honor her memory and to support others facing similar circumstances. They established the Gabby Petito Foundation, dedicated to assisting organizations that provide aid to victims of domestic violence and to families of missing persons. The foundation's mission was to turn tragedy into advocacy, ensuring that Gabby's name would be associated with prevention and awareness. Public response to the case was significant. Vigils were held in Gabby's hometown of Blue Point, New York, and in other communities across the country. Supporters gathered to remember her life and to call attention to the broader issues highlighted by her story. The case sparked national conversations about domestic violence, the responsibilities of law enforcement during domestic disputes, and the role of social media in shaping perceptions of relationships. Law enforcement agencies also faced scrutiny. The Moab police stop on August 12, 2021, was re-examined by experts and the public. Many argued that the officers had misclassified the incident and missed an opportunity to intervene. Reviews of police procedures were initiated, and discussions about training in domestic violence response gained momentum. The media continued to cover developments related to the case, and including lawsuits filed by Gabby's family against Brian's parents. These legal actions alleged that Brian's parents had known more about Gabby's fate than they disclosed and had failed to assist in the search. The lawsuits kept the case in public view and underscored the unresolved tensions surrounding the events. For Gabby's family, the aftermath was marked by grief, but also by determination. They spoke publicly about their daughter, emphasizing her adventurous spirit and her love of life. They used their platform to encourage others to recognize warning signs in relationships and to seek help when needed.